Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the news today edition of 19th of July, wherein we try and make all important news for the day, which are important for examination, in the most simplest format for you guys to understand. So let's look at the important news for the day. Recently, US government has released a law regarding regulations of stable coins. Government has released a white paper about transitioning to quantum cyber readiness. Government has also released new rules regarding atomic minerals in India. The Lok Sabha Speaker has emphasized about the role of social organizations in Indian society context. And West Bengal has become the first state for conducting digital arrest. We are also going to cover place in news, that is Sudan, along with the quick updates for the day. So the first topic for today, the US government has enacted a law that is called as Genesis Act in order to regulate what we call as stable coins. Again, what I'll do is I'll try and interlink every topic with respect to syllabus of examination, so that again you have a clarity that again this news can be used with respect to which subtopic of your syllabus. So this news pertains to GS paper number 3 with an idea of Indian economy as well as science and tech. For Indian economy, it can be interrelated with the concept of money laundering, taxation, and again, with respect to science and tech, the whole idea of emerging technologies, for example, blockchain and fintech. So we first need to understand what exactly are stable coins. All of you know what are cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrencies by their very nature are very volatile in nature because the market rate of these cryptocurrencies changes within seconds. That makes these cryptocurrencies very unstable to use as a currency. To overcome this issue of less stable or volatile nature of cryptocurrencies, there is a new cryptocurrency with the name of what we call as stable coins. So what are stable coins? They are also cryptocurrencies, but again their value is associated or attached with a fixed asset. That asset could be, let's say, a fiat currency, that is dollars, INR, or any commodity like gold, right? Or any financial instrument. Example, I'll give an example. Let's say if you have one stable coin, that is a cryptocurrency, its value is not changing very volatilely based on within seconds. Its value is attached or fixed to an asset. That asset could be a currency, could be a commodity like gold, or any financial instrument. That is making this whole idea of stable coins more stable and less volatile as compared to what we call as cryptocurrencies. This is a basic understanding of stable coins, right? So for example, Tether is a cryptocurrency which is again pegged against US dollar. So one Tether is equivalent to one US dollar. That is a basic idea with respect to stable coins. Very briefly, what exactly are cryptocurrencies and how exactly they are working? Again, this was a question in UPSC examination where again they had just asked one question, that again cryptocurrency is related to which of the following technologies, right? So blockchain technology, right? So that is why how does cryptocurrency works? All of you know this is something has been there in news. Very briefly, it works on what we call as blockchain technology. If you look at this diagram, right? So these are the blocks of data, and again there's a lock sign showcasing that again all of the datas are very secured. So they are basically digital records which are very secured, which cannot be what we call as leaked, which cannot be tampered, right? And all of the datas are connected through like a chain of data. So that is why the idea is basically called as blockchain technology. The biggest advantages of this technology is they are very transparent yet very secure, and they are very immune from what we call as data forgery, right? That makes this whole technology a very good technology with respect to digital space, which is very secure and transparent in nature, right? How are cryptocurrency or crypto coins generated? They are generated through what we call as a mining process. What exactly are these mining process? They are basically complex mathematical problems which upon solving the coins are getting generated, right? And where exactly are you storing these coins? These coins are stored in cryptographic wallets. That is how exactly cryptocurrency work in a very short format. Then why are stable coins has been gaining popularity? As I discussed, stable coins, what makes this whole word attached to it is stable. It means the value is not fluctuating, not changing very rapidly, and again the value is attached to a fixed asset, right? Again, an example is either a fiat currency or a commodity or any financial instrument, right? So that makes this whole currency a very stable one, and which is reducing its volatility, right? And many times what we have seen that this stable coin has gained its prominence in terms of very fast and low cost cross border payments. What exactly does it mean? Many times once we do any transaction through the banking platforms, either RTGS, NEFT, right, it takes some time, right? And again, if supposedly we are going or we are sending money to a foreign country or to someone or relative in the foreign country, right, it takes some time. With this, it is just a fraction of a second, and again the transaction is done, right? Then in terms of financial inclusion, many times people who do not have bank accounts and through these stable coins, right, and crypto wallets, they are transacting. So again, it is also going by the idea of financial inclusion, right? And many times what we have seen, traditional currencies are regulated by government and they are issued by banking entities only. But again, these stable coins are also released by private sectors like tech companies and non-banking entities, which are gaining popularity in the digital currency space. These are the few areas where again how exactly stable coins have been gaining popularity. Then what are the challenges? Of course, it is a cryptocurrency. Even if it is stable, right, it has some challenges in terms of data security, in terms of what we call as how exactly they are getting used, right? So of course, they are not regulated, so there is a lack of regulation with respect to stable coins. Then again, it has a transparency issues. As I discussed, one stable coin is pegged to one asset. But again, is it exact 1:1 ratio? That is again a question. Then there are some systemic risks. For example, if there is sudden devaluation of that particular coin, right? So that is making it again somewhere in the domain of unstable nature, right? And there is use in terms of illicit activities. As I discussed, cryptocurrencies are currencies whose transaction cannot be traced very easily, so they can be used for terror financing or money laundering, right? And as I discussed, they are not regulated, so they are undermining the whole idea of monetary policy of the government and the idea of financial sovereignty. With this all issues and benefits and challenges, the US government has come up with a Genius Act. The Genius stands for Guarding Against Emerging and Unregulated Stablecoins Act, as these stable coins are unregulated. So this act is going to regulate how exactly stable coins are going to operate in the US market, right? So objective, of course, to regulate the issuance who are going to issue these stable coins and how exactly they are going to be used in the economy, right? So only licensed institutions, which exactly are going to be banking entities as well as any regulated entities by the government, can issue stable coins, and they must be backed with an asset on a 1:1 ratio. All these licensing institutions need to have a auditing and compliance requirement, right? And lastly, all of this act is going to curb down the challenges of what we call as systemic risk and protection with respect to users who are using these stable coins. So these are the benefits with respect to stable coins, new law which has been passed by the US government. Where does India stand with respect to cryptocurrencies and stable coins? So cryptocurrencies are, of course, not regulated by India. They are completely unregulated. But again, because many of us in the country are maybe investing in cryptocurrencies, right? So with this an idea, any transaction, any kind of a gain which you are taking from maybe transactions or maybe through trading in the cryptocurrencies that are getting taxed by the government. Government calls them what we call as, under the Finance Act of 2022, they have introduced a virtual digital assets. So all of these assets, again the cryptocurrency and everything, are called as virtual digital assets, which are taxed at a tax rate of 30% with a 1% TDS as well, right? So with respect to cryptocurrencies, crypto entities are also coming under the purview of Prevention of Money Laundering Act of 2023, right? And India does not has any framework with respect to stable coin licensing, any reserve requirements or investor protection with respect to digital assets, right? If you are an investor, you have invested in cryptocurrency, or if something is happening, right, there is no government backing, or there is no government support with respect to usage of these digital assets. Then what exactly are these virtual digital assets? How does government define them, right? Under the Income Tax Act, government has told that any information, any code, any token which are generated through cryptographic means, they are coming under the purview of what we call as virtual digital assets. Example are cryptocurrencies, NFTs, utility tokens, etc., right? And in terms of tax implications, there is no deduction which is allowed except the cost of acquisition of that particular crypto asset, right? And any loss what you are making from this virtual digital assets, they cannot be set off against any income what you are paying in the income tax, right? So that is the whole idea of cryptocurrencies with respect to India. Again, RBI is also coming up with its own digital currency, right? So again, that makes this topic very important. And again, it could also be used as an example again how it is now a time that again India should also legislate a law with respect to regulation of cryptocurrencies in the Indian economy, right? Some previous year questions. So again, there is a question which has been asked with respect to cryptocurrency. What exactly is cryptocurrency? Very simple topic, right? How does it affect global society, right? And specifically, has it been affecting Indian society also, right? Again, you can write this question. Then, what is digital currency? Discuss the possible implications of its use on Indian economy, right? So again, the challenges what we have discussed, the benefits, what does it have, how a law which is required, all of these are going to be a nuanced explanation for both of these questions, right? Now coming to the next topic of the day, recently government has released a new paper, or what we call as a white paper, which is talking about quantum cyber security, which is going to prepare India for the post-quantum era, right? We are not in a quantum era. Post-quantum era, we are going to prepare it. So, okay, something we are planning for future, right? So again, important, which topic of syllabus it is going to be interlinked with. In paper number 2, we have a topic of e-governance, policy initiatives, right? In paper number 3, we have a topic of cyber security, information technology, quantum technologies, right? All of these are topics which are associated with your syllabus with pertaining to this particular news. Then what exactly is this quantum cyber security? All of the digital assets, maybe what you use in terms of your banking passwords, any kind of digital space which you are using with respect to government, right? Anything, all of these are password protected. Where are these passwords stored? Again, in the public digital infrastructure platforms which are there with the government, right? Are they secure? Yes, they are secure because they are kept in an encrypted format, right? Are they secure with coming in the future? No. With an idea of what we call as quantum computers, which are of course going to come up in future, these quantum computers are going to crack down your passwords within seconds because they work at a very fast pace. Even the fastest computer of India cannot crack these passwords which are kept in an encrypted format. But again, with supercomputers coming in future, they there is a huge possibility that they can crack down these passwords again in few seconds, which is very important with respect to digital security in India. That is why government has been pre-planning it, that again how we are going to overcome the challenge which is going to be faced once quantum computers are coming into picture. This is the whole idea. So this paper has been released by Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology under two more bodies, that is Indian Computer Emergency Response Team, that is CERT-in, and CISA, that is a cyber security firm. What is quantum cyber readiness needed? Why it is needed? Because many times we have seen that again quantum computers may soon break the current encryption system, that is the passwords which is there under the digital public infrastructure, right? And it is very critical for securing. Why? Because we have digital certificates, we have all our financial data, systems, everything is there in the digital platform. Any military data, any governance data, all of these, although they are kept in an encrypted format, but with this super quantum computers coming into picture, these passwords or these encrypted data can be decrypted. That is a broad idea with respect to this quantum cyber readiness. Then what exactly is quantum cyber security? So again, government has planned that again, if quantum computers are going to come, we are going to make the current infrastructure ready with respect to the viewpoint that again these quantum computers are going to track or maybe crack down the passwords in a very fraction of seconds. So again, we have developed in this paper proposed a technology that again how we are going to cope up with the quantum computers coming in future, right? So there are two methods involved. First is post quantum cryptography, that again we are going to make the current system of log. Again, the digital logs are basically kept like based on mathematical techniques, right? So we are going to design in that it is going to be a quantum proof, so that again the quantum computers cannot crack it down. And of course it is working with the current systems. What do we have? So again, these logs can be added to the existing laptops, servers and mobile phones. There is no need for new devices in order to tackle this quantum computers, right? And secondly, we are also going to use quantum cryptography, right? So again, as I discussed, the passwords can be decrypted. So we are making the current infrastructure. Again, the passwords or the logs are going to be of unbreakable nature. That is the idea of science of unbreakable logs. And again, we are preparing it with the use of quantum physics to secure the data. What do we have, right? And the most famous method for this is quantum key distribution, QKD, which allows two people to share a secret key that no hacker can copy or observe without being caught, right? That is the whole idea of making the whole digital infrastructure future secure with respect to quantum computers. Then how exactly, because nowadays what we have seen, there is a data is the new asset these days, right? So again, you have seen that again how data leaks are happening. Although data are kept, many data which are secure data are in encrypted format, but these data leaks coming into picture, some people are keeping these encrypted data also with a hope that again once these quantum computers are going to come, we are going to decrypt the data, and again that is going to be a very much blow task with respect to digital infrastructure in the whole world, right? So these hackers are stealing the encrypted data, right? And they are storing it for future decryption using quantum computers, which is going to threaten the national security files. What do we have? The blockchain assets, what do we have? And the health and financial data which a country has, right? So what is at risk? So again, the current algorithms, which again how exactly the passwords and everything is kept at digital infrastructure format, they are working on RSA and ECC, which are vulnerable to quantum computers, right? Because these form base of secure websites, online banking, jitne bhi ye cheezein hain, online banking, HTTPS, and again Aadhaar authentic, everything is working on these platforms, RSA and ECC, which are vulnerable to quantum computers coming in the future, right? So this is where The key features of this paper which it has highlighted that again we are going to first identify the vulnerabilities in the digital infrastructure, and again it is going to be a phased approach. We are going to be a phase by phase, right? On a pilot basis we are going to check on few platforms, and then again we are going to implement it all together, right? And it is encouraging what post quantum algorithms, quantum safe key management, and workforce training and R&D. So all of these requires investment in order to tackle the new challenge with respect to quantum computers, right? So again, what is the roadmap? This is how we have planned it. So all the assets, what do we have? They are going to be assessed first, which are vulnerable, right? And again, we are going to train the teams, evaluate the infrastructure, what do we have as of now, and again, it's going to be a phased rollout, and again, future-proof system is going to be planned based on quantum key distribution and the new system which is going to come. There is a question which might come. Quantum key distribution was some time back in news. It is related to which technology? They can ask you 4 names and you're going to tick down the option, right? This is how prelims questions are basically formed with respect to science and tech topics. Now, as it is a new thing, so no UPSC question has been asked. And again, we have discussed digital infrastructure. So again, I'll ask you maybe to write an answer based on the understanding what you have gained by reading this particular topic. That again, what are the challenges to digital security in the context of quantum computing, and how should India prepare itself for post-quantum era, where you can use the facts which this white paper has highlighted, the kind of challenges, the kind of plan what we have put forward with respect to usage of quantum computers which is going to come up in future. Please post in your comments what kind of points do you think that again how India is going to prepare itself for post-quantum era. The next topic for the day, the offshore areas atomic minerals operating right rules has been notified by the government, right? Again, atomic minerals, very important topic with respect to GS paper number 3, energy resources, in terms of science and tech also, in the idea of nuclear technology, because these atomic minerals are basically radioactive metals, radioactive minerals, which are basically used in nuclear technology. So again, these are the 2 subtopics of syllabus which can be interlinked with respect to this particular news. Then, what exactly are atomic minerals? Atomic minerals are basically a kind of minerals which are of radioactive nature. What are radioactive minerals? Because they release energy in the form of radiation. That is why we call them radioactive minerals. And again, they are very helpful for the production of what we call as nuclear energy, right? And the 2 most important atomic minerals what India has is uranium, which is mainly used in your nuclear reactors. Again, important fact for your prelims examination. And thorium, again, India is planning to use it more in future as a safer and long-term fuel, right? Then, what do we care? Why do we care about offshore areas? Sir, what are offshore areas? Basically, offshore areas are those areas which are not there in the mainland of the country, but they are in the water or the sea region, where again India has the control over it, right? So these are the areas which are not there in the mainland of the map of the country, but again in the sea area or in the oceans, where again India has a control over it. These are called as offshore areas. Why they have planned this? Because we have many times we have harnessed or maybe we have mined these atomic minerals in the mainland of the country. It is high time that again we are going to explore the oceans, right, or the offshore areas which are called as oceans, which again India has a control over there, and we are going to see that whether we are having a good reserves of these atomic minerals over there or not. So again, this is why offshore rules has been put forward with respect to exploration of atomic minerals in India. That is the new thing, right? So these are underwater areas which may contain valuable minerals, and until now India has basically mined on the land, and again, but now it is exploring the ocean floor for resources. Then, why is it news? Because government has issued offshore areas atomic minerals operating right rules. Again, it is a rule. There was an act. Under this act, this rule has been released. What is the act? It has been framed under Offshore Areas Mineral Development and Regulation Act. So again, I hope you have understood what you understand by offshore areas, right? Then why there is a need for regulation? Because the growing energy demand, of course, in the whole world, energy is getting demanded again, and their emphasis is on nuclear energy, right? And offshore regions are largely untapped because no exploration with respect to atomic minerals has been done over there. So this is why it requires regulation. That is why this new rules has been made out by the government with respect to offshore exploration. Then what exactly the rule has told? That again, if we are going to mine or going to explore minerals over there, we are going to find out two basic things. That again, because this mining activity also requires a lot of investment from the government. So again, firstly, we are going to check whether how much amount of minerals are there, right? And if it is crossing a certain threshold value, कि उतना ज़्यादा है कि that is worth of investment over there. Based on that only, we are going to put down mining activities in offshore areas. That is why the threshold requirement has been done, right? And second, it is also telling that again who have a right over mining on these offshore areas. So currently this rules had told that again only government nominated entities can get a right to mine or explore over there, and if a foreign company is involved, it must get a special permission from the government. This is a basic which this rules has highlighted. Then basic prelims fact, that again if I discuss, they are uranium and thorium. So again, where exactly they are found in India, and repeatedly UPSC has asked question with respect to atomic minerals in India, right? So this is where you have seen that through the map, that again in the mainland of India, where do we find atomic minerals, in which important states, right? And the key reserves are there only in Jharkhand, Andhra Pradesh and Rajasthan, Meghalaya. Again, the regions you are going to locate by yourself. What are the challenges with respect to uranium in India? That again, the uranium what India has is of low grade as compared to other countries, that of Canada and Kazakhstan, and they are very scattered. If you see small quantity in a very scattered area, right? That is a few challenges with respect to uranium reserves in India. When we talk about thorium, India has one of the world's largest thorium reserves. That is why government has been planning to invest more and use and maybe harness the potential what India has as with respect to this atomic mineral, right? They are found in basically in the form of monazite mineral, which contains 8 to 10% of thorium, and they are found usually in the beaches sands of Kerala and Odisha. What is the strategic role with respect to thorium? Thorium is a backbone of India's long-term nuclear strategy, and again with respect to advanced heavy water reactor program. So these are the few basic facts with respect to uranium and thorium. What is the significance of this offshore mining? Again, it is going to be number one, working towards energy security of India and strategic autonomy in these offshore areas. Number one, it is supporting India's 3-stage nuclear power program with the harnessing of these thorium and uranium in the offshore areas. Number two, it is going by the idea of clean energy, which is of course with the need of the hour with respect to climate change happening at a global level, right? And again, it is of course abiding by India's Make in India and Atmanirbhar Bharat initiatives. Then what are the challenges? Again, of course, if there are some things, it comes with some challenges. Number one, deep sea exploration and radioactive handling will be an issue with respect to atomic minerals, as these are of radioactive nature, which is very critical to handle, right? There are environmental impact, because if we are going to mine in the ocean bed, it is going to hamper what we call as a marine ecosystems, right? Then with respect to security risk, it is again preventing the unauthorized foreign access. And lastly, there is going to be a regulatory overlap with respect to coordination among the agencies or different agencies which are associated with respect to atomic mineral minings in India. Some UPSC previous year question, again paper 3 as I discussed, energy security, nuclear technology will be there. So again UPSC asked one question, How is India preparing to tap the potential of ocean mineral resources? Right? Discuss the challenges and ways forward. So again, they are asking broadly about ocean mineral resources. Among this, one component would of course be your atomic minerals. So again, this is how you can use such content in your answers. The next news for the day, our Honorable Lok Sabha Speaker has recently talked about or has emphasized the role of social organizations in development of nation and society. Right, again, very important, it can be linked to paper number 1, that is Indian society. Right, this is where social organizations comes into picture, and again in paper 2 with some governance, because NGO is also a social organization which is pertaining to paper number 2, governance. So what exactly are these social organizations? As the name itself suggests, organizations basically means what? Group of people. Social, it is going to be some social phenomena associated with the organization. So again, these are groups of people who come together with a purpose to teach, to guide, to support, or to care others in terms of society, right? So again, there are two types of social organizations. The one is formal. Formal, it means it has some rules and structures. For example, school is a social organization, NGO, religious groups, all of these are following certain kind of government rules. There are some organizations, social organizations, which are of informal nature. Example, family. Example, friends, what do you have? So these are informal nature of social organizations, right? So they are basically pillars of societal functioning in the Indian society. With respect to how they are going to help build a nation, which the Honorable Speaker has emphasized, number 1, family. So again, that is the first agent of socializations with respect to anyone, right? So family teaches us what exactly is right, what is wrong, how to respect someone, how to show kindness, how to be disciplined. This is something which we learn from our family, right? And it helps build citizens who care for others and the country. For example, parents teaching children honesty and responsibility contributes to trustworthy society. So this is the first social organization. Then second is your what we call as religious institutions, that is the moral backbone. How exactly they are giving us moral backbone? They teach us how to be compassionate, how to have a charity mindset, how to be going by the idea of forgiveness, right? This is very important to maybe attain a society, or in a society where again we have a good social order, right? They unite people through what we call as community service, right? They help in poor, they help maintain peace, right? For example, temples, mosques, churches are often run free of cost kitchens, educational drives, disaster relief work. So again, this is what you have been seeing in day-to-day life, which is emphasizing the important role of this social institution, that is religious institutions. Lastly, there are educational institutions, which are formal way or a engine of progress of society, where again it helps people to gain knowledge, skills, values, which is required for teamwork and discipline. It is preparing youth for jobs and leadership, which is going in the future. Example, school teaching science and ethics, nurture future scientists and ethical leaders. Lastly, non-governmental organizations. What are NGOs? Government cannot do everything, and where does the NGO basically acts as a bridge of governance between the government and the citizens, right? So something which government is not capable with respect to logistics issue or any other issues, right? This NGO steps in over there. For example, we have a lot of NGOs with respect to policy advocacy, Mazdoor Kisan Shakti Sangathan, which helped shaping the RTA Act, what we have in our country as of now. In terms of women empowerment, Seva is an NGO which is working to empower poor working women and fight for their rights. For education, we have a Pratham, which is helping children to read and learn in rural areas. In terms of democracy, strengthening democracy, we have Association of Democratic Reforms, which is working for the idea of decriminalization of politics. So again, these are all social institutions which are very important in a society. So how they are actually helping in nation building? They are fostering what we have an idea of social capital and civic participation. They are promoting inclusive development, that again development should take everyone along with this, right? They are addressing the grassroots issues effectively, right? And lastly, they are complementing the government efforts in order to create a better society to live. Now, with respect to any question, again, Indian society, repeatedly there has been question with respect to different social institutions, right? So, NGO, maybe they have asked, and non-government organizations play a significant role in bringing about social transformation in India. Do you agree, right? So, there are different kind of social institutions along which there has been, UPSC has been asking questions. There have been asking questions on family, or as an institution, marriage as an institution, right? So very important, because in society what we have seen down the line, UPSC has been asking contemporary questions. Work from home aa gaya, how is work from home going to affect the whole order of society? Again, this is how UPSC has been asking questions. So again, you need to tackle such questions based on current events which you read in newspapers. The next news for the day, West Bengal has become the first state which has convicted a person on a crime of what we call as a digital arrest scam, right? So again, very important, all of you must have, I'm sure, either you have encountered a situation of digital arrest, or you must have heard someone who has been in a situation of digital arrest. I'll explain what do you understand by digital arrest, right? How it is linked to which part of syllabus? Paper number 2, Center-State Relations, Police as a state subject. And paper number 3, the idea of cyber security, internal security, and digital governance. What exactly is digital arrest scam? So again, this is something which has been coming up in news. Someone will call you. They'll ask you, sir, I am calling from this particular government organization, I am this police officer, and they feel so much real in their conviction how they tell you, and they tell you some kind of stuff like you have maybe done some illegal work or some fraud cases have been found against you. Some courier company will call you again, we have received a courier which has some illegal product, right? This is how they have been calling the people, and again, this is where once you get trapped and they ask you to pay some amount of money, they share you some link, once you pay the money, and that's where the scam happens, right? And this is where many people have lost crores of rupees, right? And government has been very vocal about that, again, how it is a phenomena happening in society and in the digital eco space, right? And many times you must have sent, recently there was a voice caller that again, whenever you call someone, there's a voice which is coming that again, you need to be aware of digital scammers and digital arrest. That is somewhere it has come into picture. So basically digital arrests are a new form of cyber fraud, which is again maybe making you fear and again intimidating someone, right? And the victim gets a fake call or message, threat of digital arrest to trigger panic among the people. And again, scamsters are demanding lots of money, and victims are kept on video calls and they are isolated. हाँ ये भी बोलते हैं कि you cannot contact your family, you cannot call someone, you cannot inform someone. That is how they are intimidating and making the whole process look very serious. That you yourself feel sometime कि यहाँ ये कुछ तो सच में बोल रहा है, right? That is how something it is happening. Then in terms of how the scam works, but the step by step, again, this is very important for you as a person as well. In fact, train all your elders and family, because we as the youth of society are aware of something, but again, the older people who are so much not digitally aware about things happening, right? So please make aware everyone around you with the idea of digital arrest, right? So someone will call you like, I'm a police officer, right? Or a courier wala, or a CBI person, and they make false allegations of money laundering, drug links, and they psychologically they pressure you, right? Continuous calls, fake warrant, right? They'll issue a warrant also for arrest, right? And isolation, they tell you do no contact with family and friends. Then they ask you money, and then once the money is transferred, the scammer are vandalized. This is how it is happening. With respect to why it is dangerous, because target are educated and urban victims, basically people in our urban areas, right? They use very realistic identities like logos, uniform, deepfakes, right? Then again, victims have lost crores of rupees many times, and it is difficult to trace once the scam has happened, right? So what exactly has been the law with respect to this? So police is basically a state subject. So of course, state are handling this whole idea of issue with respect to cyber fraud. But again, as it is a cyber issue, center is assisting in terms of issuing the advisories, offer financial and technical support with respect to the state police, and coordinating the interstate cybercrime efforts, because this is happening pan-India. So at a pan-India level, everything has to be integrated to stop this problem of cyber fraud. With respect to measures, what government has taken, there are 5 areas. Number one, I4C, that is Indian Cyber Crime Coordination Center, which is a central cyber crime coordination body under Ministry of Home Affairs. We have Cyber Fraud Mitigation Center, which is quick freezing of scam transactions. That is, if you have lost money, you need to very quickly inform this body, which is going to freeze the amount which has been scammed from your account. Then there has been a Saman Via platform, which is linking cyber crime database across states, so that again, once a scam has happened, once it is recorded, that needs to be shared with the entire system, so that again people can get aware of that digital scammer. They are having a suspect registry, because of course with things happening, many people are in the suspect list. So again, this registry contains all of the scammers' data, right? Then again, report and check suspect portal. If any time you come across any kind of digital arrest call or something like that, please report to the website, that is cybercrime.gov.in, where again citizens can report and can search the scam numbers also. Right. This is where very important, not for examination, but for generally as well, with respect to be an informed citizen, right? To be aware of cyber frauds happening very frequently in the digital ecospace, right? So CERT-in again has issued some safety guidelines. Do not panic. Verify the caller identity, do not share OTPs, do not transfer money under pressure, and never allow remote access to devices. Once you give an access, they can control your devices, and again, everything will be lost. So again, please maintain or please follow these basic guidelines. Do not panic. Have patience, believe in yourself. If you have not done anything wrong, there's nothing to worry. We have a fear, because in India, we have a fear of police. Someone calls, if there's a police, we automatically, something happens to us and we get very intimidated, right? This is where, please maintain your calm, and again, understand that this is something which is happening, and we need to be very cautious of cyber fraud happenings these days. Why this conviction is important? Why exactly the West Bengal government has, or the West Bengal has become the first state who has convicted it? It is sending a message to these scammers that again, now, again, in fact, life imprisonment has been given. It is again highlighting, again giving a message that again, if you are someone who is a scammer, please be aware, because this is a very serious issue, and again, punishments are being given, right? So it is for India's first conviction under digital arrest scam. It is showing that legal and cyber policing is evolving in India. It is boosting public confidence in cyber law, and it creates awareness to prevent future frauds. With respect to examination questions, yes, this is somewhere cyber security, cyber frauds is somewhere always in news, which is there, and again a topic of internal security as well. What are the internal security challenges being faced by India due to use of cyberspace? As an example, we can discuss that as well. Discuss different types of cyber crimes and measures required to be taken to fight the menace, right? So again, one cyber crime is of course digital arrest, which you can use as an example, right? The place in news, which is Sudan, right? So why Sudan was in news? Because a deadly clash has happened in the Kordofan region between the rival military factions. That is how this Sudan as a country was in news, right? So basically the capital of Sudan is Khartoum, right? Again, you need to look at it in a map, locate it, because very important position, Red Sea is passing through it, right? So it has a maritime boundary with respect to Red Sea. Locate the neighboring countries, what all are there, right? What important geographical features does it have in terms of, it has the Mara Mountains, and River Nile, the White Nile and the Blue Nile merges at the capital city of Sudan, that is Khartoum, right? So again, very important, locate in map, locate the country's east-west side, again in terms of chronology, Red Sea, very important area, very strategic area, that makes this place very important for your examination. Now we're going to quickly cover the quick updates for the day. So recently, International Criminal Court was in news. Why? Because Ukraine has joined as the 125th state party to the Rome Statute, right? Again, don't confuse with the International Court of Justice, ICJ, that is different. This is International Criminal Court. So what exactly it is? It is a permanent international court for prosecution of individuals on what? On which kind of crimes? Genocide, war crimes, crimes against humanity and aggression, right? So again, it was adopted in the Rome Statute in the year 1998, which was enforced in the year 2002, right? India is not a signatory to it. Again, very important topic. They can ask international bodies, which are very frequently asked in prelims examination, whether India is a party to it or not. So that is how its headquarters is in Hague, Netherlands. Then in terms of the next news for the day, consumer price index, right? So the base year for consumer price of index with respect to agricultural laborer and rural laborer has been changed. So what exactly what is inflation? That if you have bought a pen maybe today at 5 rupees, and again in the next very year it has become 7 rupees, so 2 rupees of inflation, right? So inflation is happening, inflation needs to be tracked, right? And inflation is taking a toll in different ways for different kind of consumers. People living in urban areas buy different kind of products, agricultural laborers buy different kind of products, rural laborers buy different kind of products. So again, government has come up with specific consumer price index, which is tackling specific basket of goods which are being used by these specific groups. So again, the base year has been revised. Earlier it was using 1986-87. It has been revised to 2019, right? And it is changing, measuring the price change of goods and services which are consumed by agricultural and rural laborers. Again, very important fact, it is compiled by Labour Bureau under Ministry of Labour and Employment. What is covered? Agricultural laborers, which again, who are agricultural laborers? Who are working on farms for wages, and again, what kind of how they're getting money, in the form of cash or in the form of kind. It is also tackling RL, that is rural laborers who are manual workers in the rural areas which are employed in agriculture plus non-agricultural jobs. It is tackling the rural inflation, right? And it is used for basically wage revision. Agar मान लीजिए inflation बढ़ रहा है, so it is indicating that again the amount of money which is being given under Manrega needs to be changed also. That is how government is using this data, and that is why this revision was very important. The next news for the day, the National Standards for Civil Service Training Institutes 2.0 framework has been released. All of you who are going to be future civil servants, IS officer, IPS officers, you are getting trained, and the training mechanism has to be updated with the updating nature of governance system which is happening across India and across globe, taking best practices from everywhere. This framework basically talks about again how exactly we are going to modernize and keep up with the changing nature of governance, and this framework talks about that only, right? It has been launched by Union Minister, developed by Capacity Building Commission, and it is objective is to make the future ready civil servants training institutes. Key features includes it is going to be having a streamlined evaluation metrics. It is having an inclusive design, and it is going to be a hybrid as well as digital learning focus is objectified over here. So basically, what do you understand by Capacity Building Commission? All of you must have known about Mission Karm Yogi, which is again talking about how we are going to train the future civil servants, and again it is working as an independent body with executive powers. Again, important facts for your prelims examination. The next news for the day, National Mobile Monitoring System NMMS app has been launched by Ministry of Rural Development. Basically, all of you, in many schools these days, we have digital apps where again we can log our attendance. It is just an app where again Manrega workers are logging their attendance. As simple as that. Why this app has been released? Because what we have seen, there are many times there was fake attendance, right? That was being done. So again, the whole program was not being achieving the or was working in a way which was actually desired. So this is why this app has been launched again by Ministry of Rural Development. Important fact for prelims. The purpose is for digital attendance for Manrega workers. So again, how exactly attendance is going to be taken? By geotagging, where again exactly where you are, your position will be informed through this particular app. Let's say if you are a person in Bihar, again, and you are a Manrega worker, so your location will be given, you will be tagged, geotagged, and again time-stamped worker photos will be there, right? Then it is capturing the real-time attendance and also available in many languages, Hindi, English, Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam, right? So which is making the whole process of using the app easier for Manrega workers, right? Objective to ensure transparency in working of the whole system of Manrega, and it is very important to curb fake attendance and ghost workers who are registered under Manrega, right? The concerns with respect to this particular app is again misuse of this, where again there's a irrelevant and repeated photos could be there. Exclusion, app glitches, poor internet connectivity are the issues in rural areas which can come in way of effective implementation of this particular app. The next news for the day, pact for future. So again, all the countries have gathered and they have talked about that again, how we are going to have a future which is going to be sustainable. We are going to be also tackling, maybe seeing growth in a way which is going to be good for the coming generations, people who are not born as well as of now, right? This is why this act was, this pact was adopted in the UN Summit of Future in the year 2024. It is again, India has also reaffirmed the commitment of the future which was there, right? So the component includes again global digital compact, because it is the first global framework for digital cooperation, because with the idea of what we have seen together, ki how digital frauds and everything is happening as a digital ecosystem. So again, the first global framework with respect to digital cooperation among countries. Then it is also declaration is on future generations, because we are going to see growth, but we need to focus on the youth and long-term planning. So what are the areas which are being discussed over here? Sustainable development and financing, international peace and security, digital cooperation, science, tech and innovation, youth and future generations, global governance reform. All of these, again, all countries have made a pact that again we are going to work together as a global country with all of these areas, in all of these areas. The next news for the day, Netra MK2, which is going to be a next generation airborne early warning control system program, which has been approved by the government. And again, what exactly is this? It is, again, all of you with the whole Operation Sindoor which was there, you must have come across how it is important for India to have a good defense mechanism. This is one such system where again it is radar mechanism which is mounted on a plane itself, right? So again, it is an aerial vehicle, right? So it's aerial vehicle on the sky. It has been seeing all vehicles which are coming under its radar, and that is how it is going to help that. It is detecting, tracking, monitoring the threat over the vast distances. It is functioned like a flying combat center. It is equipped with what we call as active electronically scanned array, right, radars, and it is integrated with mission control system for real-time operation is also there, right? So all of this is very important. It is significant for India. Why? Because it is enhancing national air surveillance and early warning system of India, right? And it is strengthening the air defense coordination and preparedness with respect to Indian defense system. Many times they can ask, just like this Netra MK2 was in news, right? It is related to which technology, right? These kind of questions are asked in examination. The next news for the day, Invictus, which is a hypersonic aerospace vehicle, which is again proposed, and it is launched by European Space Agency and Fraser Nash, again a UK based company, and again funding is being done by this particular, under this particular programs. What exactly is this? So all of you must have heard about how are rockets launched. Rocket go to the space and they are not reused. So this hypersonic aerospace vehicle has a kind of vehicles which are reusable. And why do we call it hypersonic? Because they are flying at a very high speed, that is Mach 5 speed, which is 5 times the speed of a sound. And just rockets usually take off in a horizontal manner, but again these Invictus hypersonic aerospace vehicle, it is just going to take off just like flights. It is going to be horizontal takeoff, and it can be very easily upgraded. Let's say usually what happens with rocket, the rocket system is completely replaced. But this is this has a feature where again it can be upgraded with respect to software, materials, and propulsion. That is whole idea of making it reusable in nature. What is its objective? Again, the few objectives. It is going to test hydrogen-fueled pre-cooled air-breathing propulsion. It is going to enable sustained hypersonic flight, and it is also going to check the advanced reusable aerospace technology. Again, important. Again, they can ask question based on Invictus. What exactly technology does it work upon? The next news for the day, Javelin anti-tank guided missiles, ATGMs. Again, very important. Again, 3 news from the area of defense and space, right? So India has recently sent a request to United States of America for a co-production of Javelin anti-tank guided missiles. So again, anti-tank guided. What are guided? That again, once you have launched the missile, it will guide its own path. You need not to track it. You need to give more guidance to it, right? That is the basic idea. कि आपने एक missile launch किया, it is automatically, of course, against a tank, it is automatically going to guide it to the tank itself and destroy the respective tank. That is the basic idea of anti-tank guided missile. Again, it is a man portable, very important that again it is portable. Again, how exactly it is portable of nature? You can, it is very easy to carry, right? And it is a medium range anti-tank system. It is using fire and forget technology. Once you fire and forget, the missile is automatically going to track down the tank. And again, in terms of its features, it has a very high accuracy against the armored targets, right? And it allows quick relocation after firing. Once you have fired, you can relocate yourself from the area from where exactly you have fired. And of course, it is going to enhance India's indigenous defense capability with this particular guided missile. That's how we come to an end of today's discussion. Now, all important prelims based objective questions which could be framed from all the topics what we have discussed today will pop up in your screen. Now it is your time to check your understanding. Again, how exactly I have understood the topic, whether I am in a position to solve questions which are basically in the form of prelims-based questions which could be asked in examination. So please solve questions, please post in your comments what kind of answers what you have got, whether was it right or was it wrong, right? And that is how you are going to learn and maybe prepare for your current affairs for this particular examination. Lastly, Vision IS has come up with a digital current affairs platform, which is a one-stop solution for all digital current affairs issues which student faces. Please go and navigate the website and make your process of learning of current affairs easier by using this particular platform. Thank you and have a good night.